Inside your home, water is an entirely destructive force. The moment it escapes its pipes, it rots wood, breeds mold, and ruins structural supports. That means taking a wrench to your plumbing requires strict risk management. Every time a pipe leaks, you face a distinct financial choice. Pay a $250 emergency plumber fee today, or risk causing a $15,000 drywall and subfloor disaster yourself tomorrow. This risk matrix maps if a repair makes financial sense, based on consequence of failure versus mechanical complexity. Swapping a shower head lands bottom left. Mechanics are simple, failures fall safely. But sweating copper pipes inside a wall sits extreme right. Tight tolerances where mistakes mean flooded wall cavities. Successful DIY plumbing requires objective self-awareness. You must recognize when a minor mechanical fix crosses the line into a high-stakes infrastructure liability.
Identifying a good trade-off depends on your current budget, how much time you have, and your genuine mechanical competence. We generally see three types of DIYers. First is the budget-conscious beginner. They are highly motivated to avoid call-out fees, but lack the tactile muscle memory of working with tools. Second is the confident optimizer. This is the weekend warrior who owns a great toolkit, but tends to violate structural building codes because they overestimate their own expertise. Third is the time-poor pragmatist. When an emergency strikes, they don't care about process. They just want the fastest possible resolution so they can get back to their day. Knowing which category you fall into helps predict the specific structural traps your personal blind spots will lead you toward. Let's look at the time-poor pragmatist. When they encounter a backed-up bathroom sink, their priority is speed. To avoid spending 2 hours disassembling and physically snaking the drain, they pour highly caustic, off-the-shelf liquid drain cleaners directly into the pipes. Initially, this works. The chemicals dissolve the hair and organic clogs, and water starts flowing again. But down inside the plumbing infrastructure, where the homeowner cannot see, a severe chemical trade-off is occurring. This diagram shows the exothermic reaction created by those chemicals. The intense heat actively warps the PVC walls and eats away at the structural integrity of older metal P-traps. By prioritizing the speed of a chemical pour, the pragmatist turns a localized $150 mechanical clog into a systemic $2,000 pipe replacement. The budget-conscious beginner falls into a completely different trap. When they attempt a basic physical replacement, like installing a new toilet bolt or a braided supply line, they are terrified of leaks. To compensate, they apply maximum physical force. They torque the wrench as hard as they can to guarantee the fitting is completely locked down. This provides an immediate psychological payoff. The fitting feels incredibly secure, and when they turn the water back on, the seal is dry. But this illustration highlights the mechanical failure happening at the microscopic level. Extreme pressure cracks the internal rubber O-rings and bends the plastic threads completely out of alignment. Over a 6-month timeline, that fractured seal creates a silent micro-leak. It slowly drips ounces of water per day directly into the subfloor's porous wood. Because beginners lack tactile experience, their attempt to overcompensate with force creates invisible long-term property rot instead of a permanent fix. The confident optimizer runs into trouble during moderate weekend renovations. They often try to push through a project using whatever spare mixed parts they happen to have in the garage. To keep the project on schedule, they might connect a copper pipe directly to a galvanized steel pipe without using a specialized dielectric union. When they turn the main valve back on, the water flows perfectly. The system looks structurally sound and complete. They trigger a process called galvanic corrosion. This is an unavoidable chemical reaction that occurs anytime dissimilar metals make direct physical contact. This animation shows the chemical process in action. Electrons migrate from the steel to the copper, meaning the two metals effectively eat each other right at the joint connection. Within 2 to 3 years, that degraded joint will snap, resulting in a guaranteed high-pressure blowout. Overconfidence with a wrench causes the optimizer to ignore the strict chemical and material codes that govern permanent infrastructure. The profitability and safety of any DIY plumbing project rely entirely on 2 structural factors: system isolation and visibility. This decision tree maps when to grab a wrench. First, is it a pressurized supply or a gravity drain? Second, is it exposed or hidden behind drywall? For beginners, the safest path is the green zone, exposed, gravity-fed systems like your undersink P-trap. This path is safe because the downside risk is mechanically contained. If you make a mistake and a fitting leaks, you can simply turn off the faucet to stop the flow of water. Sticking to unpressurized visible components is the only sound risk strategy for inexperienced homeowners. The confident optimizer can handle the yellow path, exposed pressurized systems like a toilet fill valve, but only if they strictly adhere to building codes. There is one absolute, unbreakable rule for every homeowner, regardless of skill level. The ultimate danger zone is any actively pressurized pipe obscured from view. If the fix is behind drywall or under flooring, call a pro. The math completely fails in this zone. A silent, pressurized leak behind a wall destroys the structural integrity of the home while you sleep. There is zero margin for error. Paying a $300 professional fee is an excellent return on investment compared to risking a hidden blowout. True plumbing competence means knowing exactly when your DIY intervention stops being a money saver and crosses over into becoming a devastating financial liability.